As a supervisor, we're responsible for reviewing and approving all charges that for our employees that are we're responsible for. And as part of that, um, I'm going to close out of this timesheet screen because this is not where you're going to be actually doing your approval. The approval process is quite different than time and expense 9 um, due to the fact that they've built a brand new interface for your approvals. So for supervisors, when you log in to your timesheet, it'll or log into the timesheet system, it's automatically going to bring you to your timesheet. You can simply close out of this and it'll bring you back to this navigation page. As a supervisor, you will see under timesheets, you'll see manage timesheets for your own, and you will see manage approved timesheets to do the timesheet approvals. So I'm going to click on manage approved timesheets. As soon as I open this page, if I have any timesheets that require my approval, I will see them populate in this section down here in the timesheet section. Right here. So when an employee signs their timesheet, this will automatically populate. But because I'm not a supervisor to anyone, I'm in the system right now as an administrator, I need to go to search timesheets. No timesheets are signed. Nothing's going to populate at this point. But I want to give you an idea of what it's going to look like. So I'm going to choose status. Approval tasks only show you the timesheets that are awaiting your approval. They will not show you open, signed, or approved timesheets or any missing timesheets. So I'm going to change this to status. In my criteria section, I'm going to pick my semi-monthly schedule, put in 2018, select my period. In this scenario, it's going to be 8/15. My function will automatically default to primary supervisor. If I am a backup to someone, I would click this search button and pick backup supervisor. For this example, I'm going to stick with the primary. Then for groups, if I want to show all the employees that I'm set up to be a backup supervisor for, so if I'm a backup to 5 different supervisors, I can run all of them at once by leaving this at all. If I want to see one, I can change this to selected, come to select employee groups, and pick from the drop-down that I have access to. If I want to search by someone's specific name, I can type in their last name. If I want to search by their employee ID, I can search by their employee ID. If I leave this blank, it'll show me everyone who meets the status that I have over here identified. So anything that's open, signed, or approved. If you notice, missing is missing from this option. I'll show you where those are here in a moment. So just to recap, we changed our filter by to status. We set our criteria. We picked a specific group that we want to search. We identified the statuses we wanted to search. And now, instead of clicking execute, when you would go into the timesheet and click search and essentially do the same thing, now what you do is you come up to the top and you click this lightning bolt. This lightning bolt is your execute button. You click execute, and the names of the employees automatically populate based on the criteria you've set. Now, I talked about, well, where are my missing timesheets? Well, before we actually clicked execute, this missing timesheet link wasn't here. So I can physically click on this link and it'll tell me all the employees who were missing. Now, if I wanted to review and approve these timesheets, I have a couple ways of doing it. The first one is to use this tabled view to help navigate through my timesheets that I want to review. And you can simply use your arrow key to go down the list of your employees. And as you can see down below, it updates the timesheet detail. But if you don't like that view and you like the old way it was done, you can always click on Form View and it'll show you the timesheet just like the old system. You have a couple options here. If you decide, okay, well, I'm going to approve it, I can do it in the Form View and click this Approve button right here, and it would approve the timesheet. If I'm rejecting it, I can reject it here. It'll ask me for a revision explanation or a rejection reason, and I would put that reason in here on this tab. If I don't like this, and I want to use the table view, then I would highlight the employee and click the Approve button down here. Or reject. The revision explanation or the rejection reason is now over here to the right-hand side. That is how you approve and reject timesheets. If you need to sign for the employee, you can click Sign. Corrections, we'll have instructions for those that we can hand out. If you need to correct a timesheet, you can click on Correct, but that only works for processed timesheets. Do not ever click Correct on a timesheet that is open. It will generate a duplicate export for the accounting team. So only work with Approve, Reject, and Sign when you're working with open, signed, and approved timesheets. Any questions on the approval?
Michael, we used to get email notifications when people sign their timesheet. We haven't for a while. Will that change?
You should have been getting them, but if you weren't before, you will be now. Yes.
Yeah,
Okay.
I haven't been.
No, I haven't gotten them in a long time.
Okay. Yeah, those should come through now.
Okay, thanks.
Great question. Any others?
Hi, I've been kind of following along on my own timesheet, and I don't see all of my employees. Is that because maybe they haven't actually signed in for the first time in this new system
More
and
than
actually opened a
likely, they're
timesheet?
going to be under the missing timesheet section. And these are all the people who have not yet signed in.
Okay,
Very good question.
gotcha. I mean,
And
if
not
I
just sign in, but
find
actually save something on their timesheet too. If they sign in and then
No.
right back out.
No, if they sign in,
okay,
it will automatically put it
Oh,
to
no.
open.
Oh.
That's how we're able to track who's logged in and who has not.
Oh, okay. I thought you actually had to save a line. My mistake.
okay. If I find somebody else is missing, later on when it gets to approval
Let us
time,
know.
then
We'll
I'll
update
holler.
that, and then you'll be able to see them.
Okay, thanks.
Any other questions?
Are employees able now to use PTO in blocks smaller than 8 hours?
Officially, I believe it's a government policy that requires us to say, like, you either worked some hours on a day or you took the whole day off. That's not a system restriction. That's a policy restriction enforced on us by the government.
Roger.
Unless you're hourly.
Any other questions?
Any other questions?
Thoughts, comments?
I have one more question. When I type in the URL at timesheet.idsi.com, it automatically brings us to, or brings me to the old. It says legacy.idsi. When I log in, it doesn't show my timesheet or anything like we've described it over the call.
You went to timesheet.idsi.com and you didn't get a page that said current or old time system?
I think
Correct.
it may have been in your browser cache with the old link.
Yeah.
When you're typing that address in, make sure that it doesn't add any additional extensions to it.
Right. It doesn't. But when I press enter, it changes the URL to legacyts.idsi.com. So I guess I'll just clear my cache and try again.
Yeah, clear your cache. If that doesn't work, this is Michael McGill. Just get with me directly if you're still having trouble after clearing your cache.
Roger.
I will say this, I know it looks different, and navigating it at first, it seems like a daunting task, but I feel and have noticed in my experience that after you start utilizing it for about the first 3, 4, 5 days, it starts to become pretty intuitive and much, much easier for you to use and starts to make a little more sense from the user aspect. Any other questions? Okay. That's all I have for you. When you're done, you can simply hit the X button, and this is telling me I made some changes. I don't want to save them. I'll click OK. And when I'm done with the system, I can simply close out here or just exit out of my browser.